So I remember about 2 years ago now, I bought Iman Gadzi's program, and this was my first experience in the agency world. I went in there, I was bought into the model, I was bought into to himself as a person, and I was going through all the course content. There's minimal stuff on niche, minimal stuff on offer. I didn't even think offer was a module. And so I was like, okay, I saw Iman as the authority. I was like, let me pick e-commerce, because that's not saturated at all. That's a good niche. He's in it. It must work, right? So I picked e-commerce. I used the outreach strategies, if you could even call them that he was recommending in that program. And I think I went about a month where I didn't book a single meeting. And throughout the whole time I was using the strategies from his course, I didn't think I booked a single meeting from it. Then I quickly realized, okay, this isn't going to get me anywhere. As I was doing the outreach, I even knew like this is nowhere near what is actually required to book the amount of meetings that I need to book to hit my goal. And during that time, because I wasn't getting any results and because the content was so bad, but also I wasn't applying myself to see the other options of how I could book meetings, I wasn't getting results. And because I wasn't getting results, I didn't enjoy it. So a lot of your enjoyment around cold outreach, your enjoyment around sales, your enjoyment around service delivery, and all these things come from your relationship to these things. And it's really hard for your relationship to these things and for your paradigm towards these things to be favorable and to look at them in a positive light if all you've ever known around it is pain, suffering, and no results. So these are 3 things here that I did, that I'm going to go over, that made cold outreach almost just flow effortlessly. Like going back 2 years to the point where I went a month without booking a meeting, and I was sending a sufficient volume, but like I knew nothing about outreach. I was just blindly copying a script that didn't even work, and that was about 3 years out of date. Now I'm up to the point where I don't really have to lift a finger to book 3, 4, 5 meetings a day. It's all automated. We have automations in place. We have setters in place, both for ourselves and for our done-for-you clients as well. So I've really gotten to a point where like I don't even really have to try, and it just feels so easy. Like I could do the absolute bare minimum and I'll still book 3 to 4 appointments in a day. But it wasn't always like this, and I'm going to take you through 3 things that sort of took me from a point where I was booking nothing to a point where it became a lot easier. So the first one is market research and understanding your offer, understanding your niche, and then choosing the correct model as well. Like this is all extremely necessary for results. And you're probably sick and tired at this point of hearing people say like, this is the foundation, you need to do this right. Nothing will work if you don't have this in place. It's absolutely true. Like there is a reason that is like the most said thing in the industry, where people talk about how important understanding the niches and the offer, like mainly it's the offer. No one really talks about market research, but you need to have these things on lock. And I'm not saying you need to do like months and months of market research, diving into the niche's pain points, like finding out the optimal niche. I'm just saying pick a niche that you have interest in, so it's easier to find out their pain points, find out their goals, find out all these things about them which makes them tick, and then create an offer around that. So what I've said before is find a model that you're interested in, find a model that is working, that you see people have success in. Reach out to these people, inquire about the model. So maybe that's coaching, maybe that's done for you B2B lead generation, maybe that's like paid ads lead generation, maybe it's like content creation. So when I'm talking about the model, I'm really talking about the service, and then the offer is how to position the service to your niche. But obviously this presupposes that you've done the research on the niche first. I'd first go with model. So find out really the optimal model for you. You probably already have something in place. Maybe you have a few clients, but no one really talks about how important the model is, because it's kind of, people are too involved in the model in a lot of cases. So like they've gone too deep and they don't want to hear, okay, if you do another model, like it might be a lot easier for you to get results. That's why I recommend not just blindly going into something like SMMA, something like B2B lead generation, something like coaching, or any other things in there like to do with marketing. Actually take a step back, look at what you want to do, maybe ask people who are having success with the model, and work backwards. So pick the model, find, like, shortlist a few niches that you're interested in within that model. speak to those niches, do market research on those niches. Once you've spoken to 5 people within each niche, and you can do something called an interview campaign where you reach out to these people and say, hey, I'm writing a white paper. I just want to learn more about how X, Y, and Z, about how, let's say, recruiting and staffing firms are doing this. In return, I'm going to basically build out a white paper from all the insights that I've received. I'm happy to share with you once I've finished. And then you can go from there. So you can speak to these people in the niche. Once you've found out more about their pain points, which you can do both from speaking to them and also from your own research in your own time. So ChatGPT, Reddit, looking at forums, things like that. Nothing's going to be as good as actually speaking to these people, but in the meantime, you can do that. And then build out an offer around that. So find out what the key pillars of your service are going to be. Optimize parts of your offer to align better with the solution that you've found that the niche that you're speaking to actually needs. And then package that in a way that's appealing and that only contains the things that are needed to take your niche from current state to desired state. So I'd say work backwards. Find out the model first. No one really talks about the model. Find out the niche. Find out the offer. Make sure that's all in check. And booking meetings is going to be a lot easier. And it's going to make it, honestly, once you have this in check, you have the knowledge, you know exactly what to say. Like writing scripts isn't an issue because you know so much about the market where you know if I say this to the prospect, because of the information that I have and because of what I've been hearing on sales calls and what I know about my market, like there's 0% chance this isn't going to resonate. So obviously you still have to test, you still have to experiment, but like you almost know for a fact when you write something down, like you know this is going to get responses, this is going to hit, and like I cannot tell you how much leverage that has because like it removes so much thought that you have to put towards outreach. The second thing is reps. So like I didn't like instantly go from booking no meetings to booking a ton of meetings. It was very slow. Like when I came across the right information, mainly after the E-Man situation when I was in E-Man's course, I came across systems, I came across things where I immediately could start booking like 10 to 20 appointments a month. But then it was just a case of getting mindset correct, getting the volume correct, and then learning how to test, learning how to change variables. And really it just took time for me to fall in love with outreach. And like now I'm at a point where I actually love booking meetings. I love systems around that. It's what we do for our Done For You clients and our coaching clients. It's what we do for ourselves, obviously. So like if I didn't have some sort of enjoyment towards it and I didn't build up a relationship towards liking it more and more, it would just get progressively harder to do. And you can only fall in love with outreach when A, you've done it enough, and B, you're actually getting results with it. Like it's almost impossible to fall in love with something that you can't see any progress from. So I did enough outreach to the point where I actually can confidently say now I do like it. Because I kept learning, I kept getting better, I kept getting results, and like I became proficient enough in that skill where it was just easy for me, and it was honestly just fun because of how easy it is now. So they were the two main things. So getting everything correct to position with like the model, the offer, the niche, get all the foundations set, do enough outreach, do the reps, keep learning, keep getting better at it, and you will fall in love with it. And one of the best ways to get better is actually to invest in different solutions. So I've invested probably, I think 30K now in just different solutions to do with agency growth, booking meetings, sales, things like that. Like you always need to keep on top of things because the thing is with this landscape is whilst the fundamentals stay the same, like strategies are always changing. So keeping up to date, keeping the reps going, and you're gonna fall in love with it quickly as long as you're keeping on top of actually putting in the reps and getting results. So I'm at the point now where the entire system feels like a game. So you have like the macro system of, let's say, booking appointments. And then within that, you have all the micro systems. So you have, let's say, the copy, you have the inbox management, you have the like calling the leads, you have booking in the leads, you have like the pre-call sequence. You have all of these different micro systems which fit the macro system. And like when I say I love cold outreach, I don't love each individual component of the macro system. I don't love like everything to do with making sure that the prospects show up 95% like to the calls that I book. I don't like love every single weird element of like how can I use language to book people in. Well, maybe that's one I like a little bit more, but what I'm trying to say is that you're never going to love every little intricacy of the whole process. Like, even if you get great results, even if you're making progress. But the thing is, like, as long as you maintain this macro view of it and you have the offer down, you have the niche down, you already have a working system to book meetings, you can then look at hiring people to replicate the existing system that you have, because you have the clear idea of how to operate it and how to do it. It's just a case of putting people in place to run that system that you already have an understanding of, so you can tell them exactly what to do. So they're the three main things. It was really just getting the fundamentals in place, doing enough reps and keep getting better. So I could actually fall in love with it, because I was getting better, I was developing a skill, and honestly, it just feels easy now. And then it was just looking at the system from a macro view, and then seeing, like, almost just loving systems as well, and looking at it from a perspective of, okay, I don't have to love every individual part of this system. There are parts that I can outsource, there are parts that I can delegate to other people. But as long as I keep a holistic view of how the system works in total, like, it becomes very, very easy. So there are three things that I'd say honestly make it feel like a game. And keeping, like, because viewing it as a system, which is exactly what it is, like, in and of itself is, like, very gamified. Because you have, like, if they do this, then they move on to this, then this. It's almost like a video game. The prospect goes through stages of the funnel, and you can optimize each individual stage to get more out of the prospect and to increase your likelihood of closing them. So it becomes very, very fun up to a point. But obviously you have to go through the reps, you have to go through the pain, and then you can get to a point where it genuinely does feel easy, and you can book 5-10 meetings a day without having to lift a finger, which is close to the point we're at now. So yeah, if you are interested at all in what it is that we do, there'll be a link in the description where you can explore more. I've also got a free cold calling guide that you can check out. But yeah, feel free to book in a call with me. If you're interested, there's a link in the description, and let me know if you have any more video ideas. I'll see you soon.